Man, it feels good to be back for the first time in 7 months. I don't want to waste any time because we have a very, very special guest who I've wanted to talk to forever because that homecoming game, man, he went off. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the quarterback for Chattanville Regional High School, Mr. Brody Dalton.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Nothing much. Nothing much, man. How have you been?
I've been great, man.
Great. How was practice today? Did practice go good?
We had a good practice, watching film, preparing for the next game.
Good. I wanted to talk to you from the very beginning. I don't want to keep you too long, so maybe 30, 40 minutes. Um, First of all, I want to know how it was adjusting from middle school to high school and how much of a big difference it has made on you as a player and just as your mental state.
Oh yeah, it was for sure a big jump for me because I didn't start playing football until my seventh grade year. So as soon as I got to high school, it was only my third year playing football, and I would say the biggest difference in the game was just the speed of the game and the physicality. My first few games, I was pretty sore, and it took a pretty big toll on me.
It definitely is, and I've told people because people, not to discourage you, but people were saying things like he's not going to be doing good, he's not going to do good because he don't have enough experience, he doesn't know what he's doing, and I told them all, give him a little bit of time.
Oh yeah.
Give him a little bit of time, and he's going to show you that he'll shut you up real quick. And another thing that I want to talk to you about is the way you're not scared no
Yeah,
more.
I mean, it's just when I step on the field, the way I look at it is, somebody's got to. It's a 1v1 battle with me and whoever's in front of me, and I'm not gonna let the guy who's in front of me beat me. So that's my biggest thing when I go out there. That's what the pads are for, I guess.
That's what the pads are for. I'm going to use that as a quote. So you said it was a big adjustment to you. Did the coaching staff make any difference, or was it not that big of a difference?
Oh yeah, for sure. I would say the coaching staff played a big role because growing up, I was always around those guys, and my dad used to coach a little bit, so I was always around the high school team, and having a close relationship with Coach Dial and Coach James Barker was a big play in my performance, and it really helped me out.
So football is second nature to you now. It's like your blood type. It's in you. And I found that really interesting because I remember, you first starting out to now, and it's such a big improvement. I mean, you had, I think it was 4 rushing touchdowns by yourself
Mm.
at the homecoming game, which I didn't go because I had things to do. Um, but I heard that and I was like, wow. Because that's not really heard of in high school ball. It's not really a thing that you hear a lot. So when a small town like this, when somebody goes off like that, it kind of spreads like wildfire.
Oh yeah, it felt pretty good, especially because that was my first game back from my injury. So I really wanted to show out in front of the home crowd on homecoming and give everybody at the school, something to cheer for and have a good time the whole week. So yeah, it felt pretty good.
You actually segued into my next question. How was it dealing with your injury for you?
It was hard especially because the next game we played was Scott, and Scott's a big rival. So having to sit out on the sideline for that one was pretty tough for me. But I done what I could. Still went to practice every day. Tried to keep the morale of the team up while I was out, and done what I could. We had a young quarterback step in and start 2 games there for us, and he done a good job leading the charge, and he showed that when I'm gone, he can take over and not miss a step.
So when you are gone, that was you're a very good segue into questions. I can just bounce off of you. It's great. I've never had an interview like that. So when you are gone, is there potential to step beyond high school football and go with it further?
Right now I'm just kind of riding the waves, and my favorite sport's baseball, actually. So that's my number one thing. But if I get an opportunity to play at the next level in football, that's going to be a hard one to pass up.
Definitely. So you said that the coaching staff was a little bit different, and obviously the playbooks play a big role into that. And I don't want you guys to give any strategy away because there could be people from rival schools to watch this from the next game. But How has it been working with that offensive line and your wide receivers and everybody around you, and who do you connect with the most on the field?
Oh yeah, it was. We got a very experienced offensive lineman. Three of the five are seniors, and they've always been my big boys up front, watching my back for me. So that always helps having such an experienced line like that to not only play but also guide you along the way and help you out with anything you need. And I got some good receivers that do their job and understand what their job in each play is and the scheme that we're going for. So that helps me a lot out there.
Definitely. I feel like that's one of the biggest parts. They give you a lot of credit for those four rushing touchdowns, but it would have been not possible without those big boys up front helping you out.
Right. They do all the dirty work and I just run, I guess.
Definitely. Has there ever been a point where you're running in a game and you see somebody in front of you and you're like, maybe I shouldn't have done this?
Oh, absolutely. I've broke a couple tackles and then it's one on one and the dude in front of me is pretty big, so I either got to make a move or get down quick.
It's what I've always told people. I've been talking about you for weeks now because I recently started watching football really heavily and I'm really into it. So I keep telling people, like, you scare me, man. One of these days you're going to run and I feel like you're going to get flattened. And then we're going to have to do a different interview about maybe a broken leg or a couple broke ribs.
Yeah, when I cut my hand in the nitro game, that was the first thing coach said. He said, "Man, you got to learn to slide and get down or something. You can't keep taking these hits like that."
I'm sure that was very difficult for you because you're not a very egotistical dude. But I'm
Mhm.
sure when you're that good at something and you know that you're that good, it sure shows maybe in your ego that I can do this. It don't matter who's in front of me.
Oh right, yeah, I'm a very confident guy, especially on the field with my competitive spirit. I just don't like to lose. It don't matter what it is, and whatever it takes to come out on top is what I'll do.
So you said that baseball was your favorite sport, and I didn't know that about you. And I've been doing research on you quite a lot, and that's very interesting to me because most people don't really pay attention to that sport around here.
Oh yeah, baseball is it's pretty low on the totem pole around these parts. But yeah, I love it. It's kind of just what I grew up always doing, and basketball and football kind of just followed along the way. So baseball's the number one for me.
That's very interesting. That is something I didn't know, and I learned something new every day. So I'm sure you watch NFL correctly.
Oh yeah.
So who do you think you model your game after, and who do you look at? Maybe not every day, but who do you go and watch their games and say, maybe I can do that, or maybe I can try to imitate that the most?
Oh, that's a good question right there. Despite the season he's having right now, because they're not off to a very hard start, a very good start. But Patrick Mahomes is one I look at, and I feel like it's the obvious answer. But man, some of the stuff he does with the no look passes and throwing on the run, it's crazy what he does.
See, I would expect you to say Josh Allen because you remind me of a Josh Allen in some ways.
Yeah, man. I wish I could throw it as far as he could.
So, segueing into Patrick Mahomes, you've had injury to your hand, and that was kind of hard to deal with, right? Because if you don't have your hand, then that takes away your main focus and your main thing. You're a quarterback, you need your hand.
All right, yeah. I got lucky though because it was on my non-throwing hand, so I could kind of come back a little early and be okay with it. So
And definitely there is like a morale about you. Every time somebody sees you, you always tend to most people in your position, and don't take this the wrong way, would be a stuck up person. But you were one of the most down to earth people I have ever met in my life. You could be walking down the hallway and he'd just be like, "What's up?" and he don't even know you. And that is something to me that makes you a great leader, but not just a great leader, but a great person, but also a great quarterback because you need that to be a great leader, excuse me, I'm talking over my words tonight, folks. To be a great leader on the field, but also to be a great role model maybe for your teammates walking down the hallway.
Right, yeah, that's something I've always looked at in myself is other people watching because there's with the role that I hold and the position I'm in, I feel like I'm able to influence some of the younger people and a lot of people that are around me. So that's just one thing I've always wanted to do is always do the right thing. People will never forget how you made them feel. So
That's what I
that's a
tell
big
people
thing
all
with
the
the way I
time.
carry myself.
Yeah, it's definitely important, and I feel like nowadays in the years that we have been in 2020 and now 2021, I think it's important to not only impress people but also give people that sense of somebody's there to talk if you need to
Right.
talk.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, I know I lost my mom in September, and just the amount of support that I felt. Like I've always felt like you don't really have friends until
Hmm.
something big happens like that, and then just the amount of support that comes in with that is something very overwhelming. So,
Hmm.
did you have during your interview? Did you have somebody to stop you and go, "Hey, it's okay. You're gonna have moments like this. Don't get down on yourself."
Oh yeah, a lot of my teammates, especially, and some of the teachers at school, they said this is part of it. Stuff like this is going to happen. You just gotta work through it, and in the long run, this is what will make you better and allow you to take that big leap.
So you definitely had that support system, and I feel like that's something important. Do you think you would have had a harder time trying to come back from that if you didn't have that support system?
Oh, absolutely. The way I look at it is I have a lot of people around me that are that support me and allow me to do what I love to do, and that's chase my dreams of playing ball at the next level. And without that support group, I don't think I would be where I'm at.
So you have a very close relationship with Coach Barker and Coach Dial, correct?
Oh, correct. We're
What
pretty
have
close.
they taught you in not just football but everyday life? Has there ever been like a life lesson that they've set you down and say, "Hey, you need to focus up, man"?
Oh yeah, for sure. Coach James' big thing is there's it's always going to be bigger than football, but football is a great stepping stone to allow you to go out in the world and do great things because in football you're always facing adversity. It's nothing's ever easy. You got to work and pretty much fight for everything you get, and that's something I really took to heart and put into my everyday life, and it's really made me just push harder and keep my head down and always keep working.
And one thing that stands out to me, he just got back from football practice. It's like 8 at night, and he said, "Yeah, let's do an interview." He never stops, folks. He never stops to even think. He just keeps going and keeps going and keeps pushing. And that's something that I think he instills in himself every day is just because I had a rough day, just because I got football practice, don't mean that I can't make time for little things like this.
All right, man. It's football and everyday life, such as school and going to practice, all that. That's fun. And it's always going to be there, but the memories you make during that and after such things like that is what really counts.
So, have you ever done an interview like this?
I have not actually. This is my first one.
Oh, I can put that in the record books.
Yeah, I'm pretty nervous, man.
Don't be nervous, man. Hey, I'm nervous. I haven't talked to you in almost 3 years, dude.
I
I'm
know, man. It's
nervous.
been a while.
I'm nervous, man. I'm talking. I really like. I'm not just blowing smoke. You are one of the most talented young people that I have ever met in my entire life.
Oh man, thanks, man. That means a lot, really.
And like I'm gonna say this on a live stream. If it wasn't for people like you and Caleb White, I wouldn't be okay right now. I mean, I just lost my mom, so to have you to agree to come on my show for the first time in 7 months, this is what I love to do. It's what I'm good at. And I haven't been able to do it in 7 months because I lost love for it. And to be able to come back almost a month after my mom's been gone to come on here and do what I love to do once again means so much to me. And the fact that it's you, somebody that I've wanted to talk to and sit down and talk to like this for a very long time, even back in middle school when you were kind of first starting out. When I wanted to do an interview show, I was like, he's going to be first on my list.
Ah, man, I appreciate that. That really means a lot. What you just said right there, and allow me to be a part of something that you take so seriously and you love doing, and that really means a lot to me. That you allowed me to step in and be a part of that.
Hey, man, it means a lot to me. Segueing back into football, um, what has been the hardest thing for you this season?
The hardest thing for me this season, um, just learning. We took a lot of stuff from last year, and we pretty much built off of it and started to do a lot of new things. And just learning that new playbook and the new schemes we've put in, that was pretty difficult at first. There's a lot of vocabulary I had to learn, and I started playing defense a little bit too this year. So I wasn't just focused on one side of the ball. And where I played quarterback, I pretty much got to know all 11 positions on one side. And then the defense kind of, it may sound weird, but it kind of gave me a break because I only had to know what I was doing,
Yeah.
and that was
So
pretty nice.
it also has been very stressful for you, obviously. How do you manage going to school and, let's face it, being the face of the football team?
Mm.
Because when you say Chapmanville Regional Tigers, you don't think of nobody but Brody Dalton and what Brody Dalton has done in the last few weeks.
Just the way I manage is, I wake up, and when the way that I look at it is when it's school time, it's school time. It's time for me to focus on my work and chill out with my buddies and have a good time. But after school, when it's practice time, it's time to work. It's time to get better. And then when I come home, that's just time for me to relax, hang out with my family, chill with friends, and just kind of take a load off. And the next day, just go at it again.
So, what is your daily meal intake to stay in the amount of shape that you are in, and to keep that up? What do you eat in a day?
Oh man, I wouldn't say my daily meal intake is anything special, but I usually wake up, make me a couple waffles. Start the day off right with some waffles and a glass of milk, and then I like to throw two or three grilled cheese sandwiches in there for a little snack. Then whatever the school's having for lunch, usually eat that. Come home, uh, whatever whatever I get my hands on here at the house, I guess. Like this tonight, it was pizza, so that always gets the job done.
That's great. I'm glad he's not like trying to put on a front saying, "Oh, I eat like 13 calories a day and I'm shredded." He is not. Nope, he's not putting on a front. He said it's nothing special. So I just found out today from a kid that your dad owns Rebound, correct?
Yep, he owns that place. So
So did he have any help in rehabilitating your hand, or was it just basically you just kind of waiting it out?
oh yeah, pretty much any injury that happens to me, he's pretty much my first guy I go to, and he knows a lot about it. So he feel it somehow it feels like he's always got the answer for me.
They're great people down there. I went down there for a few weeks because I just had Botox injections in my
Mm.
leg and my arm, which I'm going back in like a couple weeks. And that's one of the things that I'm going to talk about Wednesday when I do my month later video. Dude, this is so hard. And you guys don't realize how much this show means to me because cerebral palsy is not a joke. It's nothing to take lightly. And anybody that makes fun of it, you're a douche. First of all, because you don't know what those kids go through. And I don't use it as a crutch, but there's things that go on in people's lives, and I'm sure you see it all the time going down hallways. There's things that go on in people's lives that they could have the best day at school, but when they go home, you don't know what happens behind closed doors. So, have you ever kind of stepped in and said, "Hey, bro, that's not cool," when you see somebody getting picked on, or do you kind of just sit back and just watch?
Have I ever stepped in? A few times. But my big thing is, like you said, you don't know what people are going through and what their home life is like. So, every opportunity I get, I try to just, say, hey, what's up? Ask them how their day was. And you never know. Sometimes that could be all they needed brighten up their day.
Exactly. That's the important stuff. Beyond football, beyond being
Absolutely.
the star quarterback. It's not who you are remembered on that field, and it's what I tell people all the time. People are like, "Oh, you're going to be remembered for the guy that don't shut up when he talks on his podcast." That doesn't matter. What matters is don't matter when you put that helmet on, you're Brody Dalton, the star quarterback, but when you take it off, you're just Brody Dalton, the
Absolutely.
guy.
Yep.
And that's the difference that a lot of people don't make, especially because they're football players and they think they're the best. But one thing that has stood out to me is you have never let that go to your head.
Mhm. Yeah, one of the biggest things I learned growing up was from my dad. He told me that you can never go wrong with making somebody feel good. And ever since he told me that, I just kind of took it to heart, and it kind of hurts me every time I see somebody having a rough day or going through a rough patch because something that's out of their control. So I do my best and try to do the little things to just brighten them up a little bit.
Exactly. Um, so I'm gonna wrap it up in a few minutes here. I don't want to keep you all night. I know you're tired. I'm tired. Um, so what's the most important thing to you when you go out on that field? Obviously, it's to win games, but beyond that point, what do you want your legacy to be?
Oh, yeah. When I go on the field, the first thing obviously in my head is win this game, get the win for the team, all that stuff. But what do I want my legacy to be? Um, Honestly, being on the field and putting up good numbers and being quote unquote the guy. I mean, that stuff's cool and all, but I want people to remember me as just a good guy in general, walking down the hallways. I could I could really care less if the way they think about me when I'm on the field, because when we're winning, everything's all right, but when as soon as one thing goes bad, everybody starts pointing fingers, and that's always going to be there. So the biggest thing for me is I just want to be remembered as the guy that always seemed to do the right thing and just make people feel better.
So you brought up a valid point that I was actually sitting here thinking about as you were talking. There's criticism.
Oh yeah,
How do you
always.
deal with that?
I don't really pay too much attention of it unless it comes from the right people. So if my coach or somebody said, "Hey man, we got to be better at this," I would take that to heart, go to practice the next day and work on it. But if it's just a couple fans up in the stands, "Oh, you suck, you shouldn't have thrown that ball," all this stuff, I just brush it off and don't really pay too much attention to it.
So that's a very, very strong mindset. But it obviously has to get to you sometimes. Has there ever been a point where somebody said something that you really like has beat you down and said, "Dang, maybe they're right. Maybe I shouldn't do this no more."
Oh, that question's always there. It's always in the back of your head. Well, maybe they are right. Maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. But I really just when those thoughts come to me, I just step back for a second, relax, take a deep breath, and then get back to work. So that always seems to clear my mind for me. And I know the work that I put in, and I know I've earned it. And you're gonna have bad days. That's just a part of it. But it's always a good thing when the results show.
Definitely. Uh, the next question I want to have, and you can tell me if I'm being too personal. How do you manage a relationship going through what you go through?
Oh yeah, I lost a couple ones, won a couple, but it's different, that's for sure. And sometimes they just don't understand that, I guess. And the way I look at it, we're in high school. You only got 4 years to do this, and after this, you'll probably never put on another pair of shoulder pads again and play with Chapmanville written across your chest. So if that's something they don't understand, no hard feelings, but it's probably not going
You
to
got
work
to
out.
go.
Yeah,
So football comes first.
absolutely.
Dang, man. That's kind of harsh. Hope we didn't upset any of the ladies out there when he just said that. Football comes first. Um, I'm gonna let you go in just a few minutes, but
Oh, you're good. No worries.
man, it's just amazing to pick your brain because just sitting here and talking to you, I've learned so much about you in the last 24 minutes that I didn't know about you, and I've known you since fifth grade. Um, what obviously we go from kindergarten to high school. What is the hardest thing that you've had to learn, not about football, but about life? Going from being little to now we're pretty much grown.
Right. The hardest thing I probably had to learn is that the people who you always thought were going to be there for you, a lot of times aren't, and that was a real tough lesson that I had to learn. A couple situations got thrown in my face that were out of my control, and the people who I thought were really going to step in and help me out with that one kind of hit the road, and that's something I really took hard. But I'm glad I learned it, and I gained a lot of really good close friends throughout that. So another life lesson, I guess.
And my last question for you, Mr. Brody Dalton, is if there's any word of encouragement to anybody that don't think they can do it, that'll look at this interview, some kid in the middle of nowhere who didn't think he could be a quarterback or think he's not good enough for anything he wants to put his mind to, what advice do you have for him?
Man, just I know it sounds cliche, but just keep pushing, man. It may not work out today, tomorrow, next week, in a year, but I feel like in life the only battles you really face are between you and yourself. And one thing that I take really personal is I'm just trying to be better than I was last year. Not only on the field, but as a human being, and just taking little tiny steps towards being a better version of you each day is what really counts out in life.
Exactly. With that being said, folks, I'm going to let him get some rest. He's worked hard today. Thank you guys for tuning into the Gorilla Position Talk Show. If you guys like more sports talk shows, be sure to tune in every day because you are listening to the best sports talk show in the nation. Hopefully, somebody got that reference. Hopefully, somebody did. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a great, what is it, Monday? I'm losing days.
Yeah, yep. Today's
Monday.
Monday.
And we will see you guys probably on Saturday with another interview. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day and God bless you guys.